So how's your experience been with your therapy?
Well, I started therapy a year ago,
Why did you start therapy?
around this time last year, September last year. I was on TikTok and something came up like click on our bio to sign up for a free therapy session. I was like, okay, let me sign up. Signed up, did one free session. Then the woman got back to me. She was gonna quote me 50 a month. But I said, can't pay that much. Can I do 40? She's like, yeah. But I think before I started therapy, I feel like God was really talking about it to me to start it. Because I was watching a TV show, and weirdly enough, in the TV show, the main character was looking for.
What show is this?
Oh, it's called Tuca and Bertie. It's like a cartoon. It's on Netflix. It was on Netflix, but she was looking for a therapist, and they were going from therapist to therapist to therapist to therapist. So then I was like, okay, I think God is actually communicating to me to go and find a therapist, and I was like, okay, let me actually find one and obviously that video came up, and then after that was it.
I started therapy because I had to. It's part of my course.
Oh, okay.
So now I'm doing therapy twice a week right now.
And how do you find that consistency of twice a week?
I feel like after I reach my 25 hours, I'm not going to do twice a week. I'm going to do one. It's financially straining. But in terms of the actual experience.
But I feel like, honestly, 2 is a bit excessive. But I feel like at times, there are times where you might need those 2 sessions a week.
Yeah, because an hour is not enough. So
Yeah,
there's some weeks where I'm grateful for the two sessions.
Yeah.
And some weeks where I'm like, and she gets it as well. So there's times where we have 15-minute sessions.
Yeah.
Like she's like, it's okay when you're ready to go, you can go.
Yeah.
Just because I do have to get it done.
Yeah.
But I had gone to therapy back when I was in Maynooth. I signed up for the counselling.
Okay.
And this is where I decided that I can't have a white therapist. I have to have a black therapist.
Okay.
One, I guess he was a guy. 2, he's Irish. And I felt like the issues that I was going through at that time that I was trying to speak with him about, I felt like it was because of culture differences that he didn't understand me. Example, I was talking about, I live in my mom's house and everything, but sometimes, I feel like very restricted. I can't do this, can't do that, whatever. And sometimes I struggle to find sense. And he's like, "But you're 20, just move out. Like, why don't you just?" I felt like he was quite dismissive in the way he spoke as well. So it wasn't just culture, but I feel like culture did also lead to him being like, "But why?" He just didn't comprehend it. He had a very much attitude of like, "Oh, why don't you just?" I'm like, that's not how things work in a black household. And every time I was trying to explain that, he was like, okay, but you literally can. And I'm like, I know, but it's beyond that. It's not just like, I'm not just gonna pack my bags and leave on a negative note with my parents. Like, no. So yeah, after that, I had like about 3 or 4 sessions with him. I was like, no, if I ever go back to therapy, it has to be a black therapist. So then I heard about black therapists in Ireland, the organization.
And did you try that?
Yes, and I've loved it. The first therapist I got is the same therapist I'm with. I've been in therapy since February.
Okay.
We're now in September.
I think that's the thing about therapy is it's very pick and mix. Do you know what I mean?
Like trying on your shoes, something you need to try on, take it off.
It's like some people they have one bad therapist, they'll never go again because it's hard to start it, and then when you start it, the therapist that you're with doesn't really get it. It's not one size fits all, And whenever I do recommend therapy to people, I always say that if you don't like your therapist, just change.
Yeah.
And try again.
It's just annoying because you spent money. But
but
it's worth it.
Honestly, it pays off.
It does. It really does.
It really pays off. Like my therapist, they're white, but I think they're Romanian.
You have multiple therapists.
No, they or she's Romanian. I guess there is that cultural difference, but I never saw that as an issue. Like when I explained the issues to her, she would just give me advice based on
what you said,
what I said, what type of person I am, also like my beliefs as well. She isn't like too spiritual, to be honest, but she does understand how much spirituality means to me. So I feel like she's very understanding. So she'd never give me advice that's like, okay, this is whack. Do you know what I mean? But there are times she has given me advice and I'd be like, I'm not going to take that on board. And she'd be like, Yeah, well, that's like, that's for you, do you know what I mean? Like, she's very, very understanding. She's never been very dismissive, And especially, like, African household, you have, like, loads of different issues. She always kind of understood. I feel like there as well, they might have similar issues.
You said she's Romanian.
Yeah, so they might have it.
Have you ever found yourself trying to explain yourself to your therapist? Because with my therapist, that first therapist, I felt like majority of the session was me explaining to him.
Yeah.
Me trying to teach him.
I never felt that.
Okay.
I never felt that. I felt like I would say, okay, in an African household, this is something that we would do, and it's part of our culture. And she'll just accept it, and then she'd be like, there was one time I was talking about like finances and whatnot. And she was just like, yeah, she just told me that like this happens to everyone. Like I've had people from different, like it's not, do you know what I mean? So I feel like she's very open-minded.
I think so. Maybe it was just my therapist. Maybe he just wasn't a great therapist.
I feel like that's the thing though about like college counseling as well. Like they will just get one riff-raff guy.
So cool did you guys find?
Yeah.
It's actually, I actually have the option of going to do my placement back in my head. I'm considering it.
Okay, as a college